Hey, right, a very good morning to you all. I hope you're all fine. It's Tuesday, it's the 11th of April 2023, and I'm here to bring you a look at the weather for Southeast England for the next 24 hours. Do not be fooled by the fine start. Things will be going downhill. We will move that all along in just a moment. But let's start with the temperatures. So at the moment, we're just taking a little look around in my back garden here in Folkestone. It's 5.5 degrees. Move up to Whitstable on the North Kent coast, you're running at 7.3 degrees. 8.3 on the south coast at Eastbourne. And if we move over to Midhurst, you're running at 6.6. Reading, 6.8. Up to Aylesbury in Bucks, a little bit cooler up there, 5.6. Romford in Essex, you're running at 6.7 this morning. And the Big Smoke in London near Covent Garden, 7.2 degrees. Top of the hots this morning is currently sitting on the Isles of Scilly at St Mary's at 10.2, many stations between 8 and 9 degrees. And the chill on the hill, minus 0.8 at Kenwell, is the coldest temperature. But yeah, there are other stations. These quite high altitude stations towards the north of the UK are all between 0 and +2 degrees, all very typical at the time of year. As I've mentioned, it is a lovely morning out there. This is the scene on the Isle of Sheppey at Minster, looking out to sea, and this is the scene pretty much over most parts of southeast England. Clear sunny skies and relatively light breezes at the moment. But as I mentioned, do not be fooled. Trouble is looming in the Atlantic. This was the facts chart for midnight today, earlier on. Although we're in a little bit of a ridge at the moment between weather systems, there is another system winding itself up in the Atlantic. It hasn't really even formed yet, and that will be moving over if we take a look at the jet stream. Here it is, it's firing up across the Atlantic again, around about 150, 160 miles an hour. So any developments in the Atlantic will not take long to get over to our shores. And that can be seen by the midnight tonight. A low pressure system would have wrapped through. We'd have already had a spell of rain this afternoon and evening. And then there's another secondary low feature that will be coming in, which could give us a few wind related problems tomorrow. We'll be coming on to that in tomorrow's forecast, but we'll take a look at the radar. As I've mentioned, don't get fooled by this fine sunny start. There is already a lot of cloud, a lot of rain already in the southwest approaches. This is the current radar, and this will be moving eastwards throughout the course of the day. We'll take a look at the WX charts, and we will run the icon. I like the icon. It's a fairly good, solid, accurate model, and it gives 1 hour increments. So here we go at the moment, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's relatively dry. Well, it is dry over the many parts of England and Wales, but just the first signs of trouble starting to appear in the southwest approaches. By 9 o'clock, that rain has reached Cornwall. By 11 o'clock, it's moved over many parts of southwest England. It's moved up along the south coast as far as the Isle of Wight. And then if we push this forward to 2 o'clock this afternoon, already a large area of the UK, certainly the southwest and the Midlands and Wales, will be under that rain. It's already knocking on the door of southeast England as well. By 3 o'clock, it's arrived over most places, and then throughout the course of the evening, that rain holds on, becomes briefly quite heavy for a time to the south of London before it eventually clears out the way by midnight or soon after. So that's the way that's being played out. A dry, fine start, turning cloudy and wet this afternoon and evening. We'll have a little look at the breezes because they're going to be quite significant. Not so much today, but they will be pepping up tomorrow. And I'm going to put on the gusts this morning. So this is where we're sitting at the moment. We're sitting there at 7 o'clock, and the gusts are all between about 20 and 25 miles an hour. By lunchtime, notice how that wind backs from the west into the southwest, and those breezes pick up 33-mile-an-hour gusts. By evening, the winds have backed more to a southerly direction, and we're starting to see gusts in the mid to high 30s. Then overnight, look at that, as that rain band pushes through, the winds really do start to increase. So we'll be looking at gusts of 45 to 50 overnight. Bit of a lull tomorrow, but then tomorrow evening, look at that. Widespread gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour. I will not be at all surprised if the Met Office put out a weather warning for that. So something just to keep an eye on in the forecast and my one tomorrow morning. Temperatures today, not too bad, just around average, around about 12 to 14 degrees before that rain comes in. And then your temperatures. So these are your starting temperatures this morning, as we've already mentioned, typically around about 5, 6s and 7s. And no temperature related problems tomorrow. We will not be scraping the car. Might get a bit chilly towards the north of London towards the end of the night under clearing skies. But that's it. Yeah. A going downhill kind of day. Dry, fine, sunny morning, turning cloudy this afternoon, rain later this afternoon and evening, persisting overnight, clearing overnight, becoming windy and squally, particularly tomorrow. So I shall be back tomorrow morning with the updated forecast. No doubt we'll be looking at the winds. But in the meantime, all have a lovely day. Look after yourselves. Thanks for watching and ciao for now.